What's up, guys? Anthony Rodriguez here. Pretty excited to feature track 6 of the soundtrack suite, Volume 1. We're not doing track 5 because it's Forbidden Tree and it's related to um, track, track 4, which was Garden of Eden. So we're going to move on to the next story away from the Garden of Eden and the Forbidden Tree. But you can still stream that track, which is part of the album. But we're going to go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 8. And Cain told Abel, his brother, and it came about when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel and his brother and killed him. The first recorded record of the first murder in history. Yeah, the first murder recorded in history. So basically, Abel brought an offering to God, and Cain brought an offering to God, but God favored Abel's offering. It was nothing to do with material things. It had to do with the heart. So God favored Abel's offering because of the pure heart. Cain got jealous and killed his brother. So this track, there's really nothing positive in it because this is all rough and tough, and we're gonna go right into it. So playback is on Direct 2.0 Direct, meaning that you'll be able to hear the Atmos mix in your headphones and also in a playback, in a stereo playback. So let's get right into it. So we have a few tracks here. These stems are, I think they're all objects, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think they're all objects. So this is mostly like an object-based mix. And I've mentioned this before. Objects are pretty much the green balls or the green objects in the Dolby Atmos Renderer that are placed in specific parts in this 3D sound field. And you can mix that way with the right settings and everything. So this particular mix, this was done that way. So from what I'm seeing here, objects, there were really nothing sent to particular objects. Everything was mixed from the specific track. So you can see like the bass synth was left and right. The Brahms, the was a little bit forward and elevated up. Let me see that. The Brahms, yeah. We're looking at the choir. The choir is about kind of in the back side, but not totally in the back. The horns are, they're nice, elevated back and up. The lead synth is also with size and to the top. Low percussion hits are elevated as well, like towards the front. Organ is elevated as well. The outro sound effect is moved. So anything that says touch on there, that means that those objects were moving. And then the perk, another perk in the back, but not totally against the back. You can see that it's a little bit going forward from the back, but with size as well. Okay. And then we have a reverb here. So this track is also utilizing an Atmos reverb. So there is no particular reverb on a particular spot in this Atmos mix. Everything is just sent there as a whole Atmos verb. These are decisions that were made, and all the tracks in the album are mixed differently. Some of them have this type of workflow, and some others don't, as you can see in the behind the scenes of the other tracks. Let's check it out now. So now that I explained the placements, let's hear each section. preparation. And go. A very basic placement, but when other things come in, the objects appear. Mostly object-based mix. When it gets fuller, you can see some objects come in and out. We have a movement happening there. Oh, nice. Beautiful. Oof. Okay, so simple stuff. Nothing crazy. In the inserts here, basically nothing. Because of the stereo mix and the prints from the stereo. We just had to kind of just come here and enjoy the mixing. We could go through the different sections real quick. We have a synth bass, keeping the groove. We have it in the front, object. And then the Brahms. Have it up there. So you can see, picture the speakers on the wall, but that sound is being distributed to sound more close. So like I mentioned before, the objects that you see in the box are metadata from the renderer, and the bed, which would be the speakers that you actually see with your eyes, distribute that metadata so that it can sound where the intention of the mix was, from how it was mixed. So since the Brahms were a bit out of the speaker, so nearby speakers work together to get that sound to sound closer to you, but not, and make it sound like it's distant as well. All of these things are basically also depending on the settings, the Dolby Atmos binaural settings. So if the Brahms were objects 13 and 14, it would be 13 and 14 here, but they're off. So when the objects are on off setting, you're not going to get any phasing or any weird artifacts when you move the objects. So yeah, pretty cool. And we have the choir, one of my favorite things in the mix. So that one is right by the ear. You can see the Brahms is. Woo! Come on now. There, look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. next group is the horns, my other favorite things. But the horns come a little later. Back up. Nice. You can hear them like over here in this section right here, the headphone right here. I can hear them right there. That was pretty cool. The beginning you had like this lead synth. Just up there with sides. Organ. Nothing beautiful. The organ is nice, but it's just supposed to be just disastrous, like no order. You know what I'm saying? Like dark. Percussion. Oh, we have percussion here. Hammer, dragon type. They're placed, as you can see in the renderer, elevated and a little bit forward. But then we have this other percussion as well. That comes a little later. But right here. Come on, guys. Look at this. We got the coming in the back. The heavy percussion in the front. This is all intentional. With the reverbs coming in, you can see the reverb, Atmos reverb, taking it all in. It's not aggressive, but it's just right. You see? So it's not washy. It's just right. You can hear it when I play it. That's it. But when you hear when it's actually coming out of that section, you see? The effect for the effect from the outro is pretty like metal-y, metallic type. Check it out. This is the one that moves. Yeah. It's moving. It's pretty cool. These automations, I think this one moved as well. Let me see. Choir. Did the choir move at some point? I don't know if it moved. There's only one way to find out. Let's go to this. No, that's volume automation. So, okay. Yes, volume automation. So this is the automation in the mix. All right. But no object movement. So this was placed. So basically, the only thing that actually moved in this mix is the outro effect. It's in yellow. So yes, you can see the yellow highlighting there. If it's highlighting yellow, that means that it was moved. The objects were moved. So, you know, a lot of people think about Dolby Atmos and they think that things have to be moving constantly, and that's not the case. There are songs that have sounds that can be placed to move. And there's a lot of situations where Atmos is not thought about. So when people are doing stereo mixing, they're already trying to move those elements in the mix, you know. And so when you take that into Atmos, you're gonna get that same movement from the stereo. So your job is to try to figure out how you can kind of respect the originality of that stereo mix. So you basically you can add like effects to complement that. So you don't have to necessarily move it again and have the the green balls move around. A lot of it is very simple stuff with intentional things. You know, Dolby Atmos is simple but yet complicated because you have a lot of settings you have to play with, um, and you have to be very careful. So when I'm mixing, it's like, say for example, just to add a little bit fun, if I move the Brahms, see how it sounds louder there. You know, so a lot of those things is just like trial and error, trying to figure out what's the image of this, what is it that you want to do. A lot of the things to me, I need it to sound it, I need it to sound like it's coming from above. You know, the God just casting Cain out, and just like, but also at the same time protecting Cain as well. If we read the word, God put a mark on Cain that no one can hurt him, but he was still cast away. So this is just really just filled with aggression. You know what I'm saying? And that's Cain Kills Abel. You know, it was a fun soundtrack to play. These soundtracks are meant to just not be too long. Compositions not too long, because we're going from story to story to story. So you can stream Cain Kills Abel in the God Soundtrack Suite Volume 1 on Apple Music, Tidal, and Amazon Music on Dolby Atmos. So get your spatial audio devices, Dolby Atmos capable, compatible devices, and just stream this full album. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.